Configuring OSPF version 3. We will configure routers R1, R2, and R3 to share routing information using OSPF version 3 within the IGP routing domain. R3 is still configured with a default route through router R4. Using OSPF version 3, we will configure R3 to distribute the default route to the other OSPF version 3 routers. Router R4 is still configured with a static route to reach 2001.7052 E1CC:/48. Both the R3 and R4 static routes are shown in the following example. R3. Configure terminal. IPv6 route /0 serial 0/2. Exit. R4. Configure terminal. IPv6 route 2001.7052 E1CC:/48 serial 0/2. Exit. Begin the configuration process of OSPF version 3 on router R1 with the IPv6 router OSPF123 global command. This command is similar to the router OSPF process ID command used in OSPF version 2. Like OSPF version 2, the process ID in OSPF version 3 is only locally significant and does not need to be the same on other routers in the OSPF domain. In router configuration mode, the router ID command is used to configure the OSPF router ID. This OSPF router ID command must be configured on all the routers in the topology because it has not been configured as an IPv4 address on any of the interfaces. Therefore, the router cannot dynamically choose a router ID, and the router ID must be manually configured. Continuing with the configuration of R1 in the following example, enable R1's interfaces for OSPF version 3 using the IPv6 OSPF process ID area ID command. Interface Fast Ethernet 0/0 IPv6 OSPF 123 area 0. Interface serial 0/0 IPv6 OSPF 123 area 0. Interface serial 0/1 IPv6 OSPF 123 area 0. And interface loopback 0 IPv6 OSPF 123 area 0. End. The process ID identifies the specific routing process and must be the same as the process ID used to create the routing process in the IPv6 router OSPF process ID command. The area ID parameter is the area that is to be associated with the OSPF version 3 interface. Although any value could have been configured for the area, 0 was chosen because area 0 is the backbone area that all other areas must attach to. This helps in the migration to multiple areas, multi-area OSPF, if the need arises. In the following example, notice the OSPF version 3 configurations for routers R2 and R3. R2. Configure terminal, IPv6 router OSPF 123, router ID 10.2.2.2. interface serial 0/0, IPv6 OSPF 123 area 0, interface serial 0/1, IPv6 OSPF 123 area 0, interface loopback 0, IPv6 OSPF 123 area 0. End. R3, configure terminal, IPv6 router OSPF 123, router ID 10.3.3.3, interface serial 0/0, IPv6 OSPF 123 area 0, interface serial 0/1, IPv6 OSPF 123 area 0, interface loopback 0, IPv6 OSPF 123 area 0. Although it can be different, the same process ID number is used for consistency. We can see that neighbor adjacencies have been formed. To complete the configuration of OSPF version 3, we need to distribute the default route on R3 to other routers in the OSPF domain. The router configuration command, default information originate, is configured on R3 as shown in the following example. IPv6 router OSPF 123, default information originate. End. The complete syntax for the default information originate command can be found in the Cisco iOS IPv6 command reference. Syntax description. Always advertises the default route regardless of whether the software has a default route. The cost of a Type 2 route is always the external cost, irrespective of the interior cost, the cost within the OSPF domain, to reach that route. A Type 1 cost is the addition of the external cost and the internal cost used to reach that route. The default is Type 2 external route. Verifying OSPF version 3. To verify that the OSPF version 3 domain is fully converged, begin by examining the routing table on R1 using the show IPv6 route OSPF command, as shown in the following example. Notice the remote networks in the OSPF domain, along with the default route distributed by R3. The administrative distance of 110 for OSPF version 3 routes is the same as for OSPF version 2. In the following example, the TCL script is used again to confirm reachability across the entire topology. R1 TCL shell. Copy, paste. R2, TCL shell, paste. R3, TCL shell, paste. And R4, TCL shell, paste. As we can see, we have connectivity to each global IPv6 address in our topology. The following example shows the output from the Show IPv6 Protocols command. Similar to what was illustrated with the other IPv6 routing protocols in the two previous lessons, this command displays the connected, static, and OSPF IPv6 processes running on the router. In the following example, Show IPv6 interface Fast Ethernet 0/0 verifies that R1's Fast Ethernet 0/0 interface is now a member of OSPF version 3 multicast group FFO2:5 all SPF routers. R1 will process any OSPF version 3 messages with the destination address FFO2:5, such as OSPF version 3 hello messages. R1's Fast Ethernet 0/0 interface is also the designated router for this segment and will listen for OSPF version 3 all DR router FFO2:6 messages as well. In the following example, the Show IPv6 OSPF neighbor command lists the OSPF version 3 neighbor adjacencies. Notice that the router IDs of both neighbors are their 32-bit router IDs used by OSPF version 3. The output from the Show IPv6 OSPF interface command on R1 is similar to the equivalent command in OSPF version 2, as shown in this example. The only difference is that OSPF version 3 sources packets from the interface's link local address, which is FE80:1 in the case of R1. In OSPF version 2, these packets are sourced from the interface's IPv4 address. In the following example, note the selected output for the final running configs for each router relevant to OSPF version 3. R1 show run include IPv6 or interface or router ID. R2 TCL quit. Show run include IPv6 or interface or router ID. R3 TCL quit. Show run include IPv6 or interface or router ID. And R4 TCL quit. Show run include IPv6 or interface or router ID. To remove OSPF version 3, the No IPv6 Router OSPF Process ID global configuration command is used. R1 configure terminal No IPv6 Router OSPF 123. R2 configure terminal No IPv6 router OSPF 123. And R3, configure terminal, no IPv6 router OSPF 123. This removes the OSPF version 3 process, including any OSPF version 3 interface configuration commands.